Dude's
All
up.
right. Hopefully we are.
Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook, says my computer.
Woo!
Really doing it.
We're gonna be huge.
Gonna be huge.
All right.
Got
So
your guitar, got my guitar. Cool, cool. Hi, Aaron.
Cool.
Hey,
Hey,
all.
what's up, Aaron?
hey everyone out there in Freaks Land and Duo Land. Welcome to another Freaks Night In with the Freaks Action Network. A very special night. We've got Marco and Joe. Before they were bustling, before they were almost dead, they were simply just Marco and Joe, the Benevento Russo Duo. And tonight we're going to have a little nostalgia sesh with these guys. They've already warmed up. They got their guitars in hand. You know these two guys are. Anyway, we are going to listen to the duo's breakthrough "Best Reason to Buy the Sun" album, and we're going to have a chat, and maybe we'll get to some questions from you guys. And just before we get started, I want to remind you all that we are, this is on behalf of the Freaks Action Network, which is a 501c3 nonprofit born out of the NYC Freaks, who have been longtime friends with these guys. The Freaks Action Network is dedicated to using the positive energy of live music to make positive change in the world. And we are currently raising funds for our Musicians Relief Fund, which has been doing grants for NYC musicians in need during this pandemic. So we've already given out $50,000 in grants, and we are going to continue doing it as long as we can. And your donations are sincerely helpful to keeping us going. So hit the donation if you can. That's why we're here. Otherwise, we're also here to have a good time. So as always, with these guys. So before we get started, word of welcome from the duo.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Thanks for having us, Aaron. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Joe.
And we both have our Dan Electro guitars in hand, our silver tones.
I thought maybe we could riff out. Like I could do a riff and then you could do one.
Got that one?
I got this one.
Oh, that's pretty good too.
I'm working on my bending.
It's good. It's good. Thanks for having us, Aaron. I was very excited when Aaron had the idea of doing this about we had just released the duo stuff on vinyl via Royal Potato. Big shout out to Kevin Calabro and Royal Potato for doing that, and kind of just bring it back into focus, and people reaching out and being really wonderful about these records that really meant so much to the both of us in our careers and our friendship. And Aaron's idea of doing this for the Action Network and trying to help raise some more money for our musician comrades who need help right now, I thought was an awesome idea. And Marco agreed. And we're going to figure out what this is. We're going to go down memory lane and I'm sure find ourselves in interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
Space.
And I think technically we're still on the 15-year birthday of Best Reason to Buy the Sun, right? We haven't hit. We're still. I think that 2015 maybe they came out. So we're 2005, I should say.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. But for now, I'm gonna play the opening track, which is Becky, and then we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the sound is okay. We'll see how it goes. So here's Becky.
Oh no! Interview is over.
That was from the sound check. All right.
This is my favorite key, A minor. As you all know, like the key of C.
Just listen. I mean, I guess we can sort of wax anecdotal about this while it's going on, right? Anyone who cares about being here right now, I think, has heard this song before. I remember when we were working on this, I had just gotten my my little sampler pad thing and made that little loop, that boop, 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 just like shitty onboard drum sound with shitty onboard distortion, and brought that to your house, and yeah, we were just kind of fucking around with it, and you started throwing that kind of like
Yeah.
Beck-ish bass line / Beatles-y bass line, and
Right.
which is a lot of people will now discover why that tune was called Becky. It should have been called Beck-ish.
Right. It's kind of funny. Like the both of us, we were like, "Oh, is that like too much like a Beck song?" Like,
Not if we call it Becky.
it's like not at all like a Beck song at
No.
all.
We were under the impression that it was.
Right. Just because of that bass line, I remember
Yeah.
thinking, and I don't even know what Beck song that.
I think it was New Pollution.
Oh, okay, all right, there you go.
And
But we listened to a lot of Beck in the Subaru, like Midnight Vultures, and
yeah, and I think what I've realized when we first got the vinyl, I did pop it on for a little bit, and from what I realized with this record is we're wearing our influences heavily on our sleeves. Like going back, I was like, oh shit, that we ripped that off from there, we ripped this off from here. We were like, I made it like 6 dudes in, and I was like, okay, that's a direct line from that. And then this was, this vibe, it took on its own life. But then the funny part is the producer of this record is Joey Waronker, who is the drummer for Beck, who even, I think, kind of like helped us steer into it a little bit more when we told him what the deal was with the percussion and kind of the cacophony at the end with all his random percussion shit before that end bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that he produced this record too.
And how did you meet Joey again?
Joey called me randomly about, God, it must have been in 2004. And I don't remember how we got in touch, but it was to come out and audition for that band, I'm a Robot, that we ended up listening to all the time and fucking loved that record. And that was basically Beck's whole band with, it was Justin Endall Johnson playing bass and Joey Waronker. I don't know if Smokey wasn't in it. And then Dude Mang from, that went on to be Edward Sharpe, was the frontman, who was way more like David Bowie androgyny at that point.
Right.
And Alex Egert. So we got in touch via that. And then when we were talking about doing this first record with Robodope, and we were talking about producers, he was definitely the most famous person we knew. So we called him, and also being a huge influence, and we both being fans of so many things he did. And yeah, he helped us put this together.
Wait, well, hold on. This ending was inspired by
Steve Vidaich's wedding, organ player for Citizen Cope, who was in the motet for a time, and we played a drum break at the end of his wedding, and it went and I had just come back from his wedding, and we're like, how do we end this? I was like, I learned this new rhythm. And then Marco just put some notes to it. So that's that story.
That's a cool ending. And then what also is cool about that ending is that I remember you teaching that rhythm to Stanton Moore at a gig when we were opening up for Galactic. And I remember the two of you sitting and playing together, and you being like, Stanton, I learned this new African rhythm from this thing.
From this wedding in Colorado.
And you taught it to him but the venue wasn't ready for us. So you had like the drum set up like in like the bar, and you were playing with Stanton, and Stanton was like, you guys had like a drum workshop going like in the bar before the stage was actually ready for us. And it was really cool to watch you guys do that shit. And then somebody yelled at Stanton like, yo, Stan, they're ready for us. And then Stanton like threw his drums across the room and was like, I'm trying to learn something from my buddy. Like, leave me alone. Remember that?
You completely just brought me back there, actually. I had not remembered that until you just said that, and now I can't not remember that.
Right? Like,
and we were like, fuck, dude.
You're like, wow, like
my man got pissed.
He's like a real artist who like gets
he was in the zone.
He has people that work for him. Meanwhile, it was just the two of us.
And we were about to set up on the floor in front of the stage.
Right.
Which actually was kind of the best time. Like,
absolutely.
One of my favorite things about early duo days was like, the band, you see the band being like, oh, the ones that we're opening for, like, oh, we got an opener. We're like, it's cool. We're just gonna sit up on the floor. It's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, cool. And like everybody loved that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And we loved it too. It was
We
awesome.
loved it too, and it was just the easiest way to get along with the people that you liked, and you were so excited to be opening for them anyway. So the last thing you want to do is like sort of piss them off to be like, can I
Right.
put my Hammond organ on the stage? Like there's no
Right, because even when we didn't have a lot of gear, it was still an organ and a drum set that had to be set up next to each other in the fucking middle of the stage. Where
right.
usually the principal performer of the band you're opening for is like whole vibe is set up. So I think we won a lot of favor with people by doing that, and started getting on tons of openers because we were the golden opener.
Yeah, we were like, okay,
we just
don't
got
worry
a couple
about
$100 and a little splash in front of the stage. And
like, did you and I ever complain to like the opening band and being like, yo, dude, you guys are sound checking too long? Like, never. You don't do that. You never do that.
no, never.
Ever. Anyway.
That's funny, though. Yeah.
I love doing that. I did love doing that.
That was a good time. That was a good time.
Even at like bigger venues like the 930 Club, we would
that was I can still bring myself back to that moment, being surrounded by and it wasn't like a ton of people. There weren't like a lot of people there early to see us or anything,
right?
But like being like, I think we were inspired by Lightning Bolt.
Yes.
At that point, and it was awesome, like being fully immersed in the crowd, even if it wasn't a giant crowd. It was still just being surrounded by people while we were doing what we were doing. And at that time, the music we were playing was still more, I guess, improvised, jazz oriented when we were kind of making the transition into this record, actually.
Yeah.
We were kind of on that precipice of going from like, we're kind of funky jazzy dudes playing at the Knitting Factory to like, we're kind of playing like these like instrumental rock epics. And, I think that moment we're talking about now was happening, at that time,
Right. Absolutely. And the reason why, sorry, just one more part before you go to the next song.
This is the gig, man.
The reason why
you're doing great.
The reason why it felt good and normal for us to set up on the floor was because that's what we did for like a year at the Knitting Factory. We just like set up on the floor realistically, and like were there even mics on our shit? I don't even think there were any mics on ours.
No, we just played really loud into a tiny room.
Right. So like if we could just like avoid monitors and microphones and like a sound guy, or like I don't know, like it was actually our home turf versus like some bands like needing a sound check and needing their in-ears or needing a lot of things in their wedge. Like we were just used to that sort of
right at that point.
And then
at that right,
and then
we got the van.
Right. Anyways, track number 2. Woo!
How are we doing, Aaron? Any questions? Any comments?
I mean, yes, but keep going, and maybe I'll just let the tape roll, and you guys can keep going. Yeah. Speaking of the transition, right? I think.
And speaking of complete ripoffs on my part on this one, so
I don't even remember.
This is Joe and Marco. This is your life. Let's hear it, man.
So, introducing Tom Hamilton to my life around this time. He's like, dude, you gotta check out this band, the Postal Service. I remember we were listening to that first record a ton, and whatever the most famous song became off of that record, Such Great Heights. Is that this one that I ripped the beat off of, or was it a different one? But it's like literally almost verbatim, and I just remember thinking it was a really cool beat, and I was just trying to program it at a sound check where we were playing one time with the shitty. Again, we like looking back on the tones that we used for like our music. It's pretty laughable because it was all like onboard crappy drum sounds that we would like manipulate, or we would like sample like your worlds or with like a mic. Pretty lo-fi. But I remember just trying to program a beat like that just because I really liked the beat, and you started playing this over that, and then it built into a song, and that was just the bones of it was this total ripoff of this Postal Service beat, which is like, I think Tommy and I joked about it like not that long ago. He's like, dude, you fucking really stole that straight up. I think everybody's gonna hear it.
I love that there's
this part is not.
I love that there's like you said, like verbatim, like total stealing, like total ripoffs.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, when you put it in this context,
sick basement.
You can't like, you almost can't tell where it came from.
Well, that's the thing that's cool is like, if you show the source material, you see the connection. But yeah, like this is what
Right.
we sound like, you know.
Right.
And
It was
and,
just-
and everybody does that, you know. It's like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
take, you know, there. I think you and I have discussed this quote before, where Tom York was talking about, you know, something like, you know, Radiohead sounds like Radiohead because they were trying to sound like all the shit they really loved, but it's ended up sounding like them. You know, like
Right.
the idea of trying to emulate your heroes or these sounds that you love and not being able to pull it off, and the residual being you, you know. And I think that's what this record is a lot of, which is cool, you know. And we were
Yeah.
young and figuring out, and again, this like transitional time. So it's like clearly we were searching for a lot of stuff and listening to a lot of stuff in the van and being on tour
Right.
all the time.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
really interesting because it's like almost opposite ends of the spectrum, but like you blend them up and then we're in the middle. So like
Right.
one end is like Beck, everybody knows Beck, and the other end is like experimental jazz from the Knitting Factory.
Right.
And then you're like, where's the middle ground? It's like it could be this record, you know, like or like our sound is a lot of that like Postal Service and like experimental jazz from the Knitting Factory.
Right.
Like-
It's pretty much one thing, and then experimental jazz was,
You know, right? Or like, you know, and then, but you know, we're 20. We were like 23 when we made
Yeah.
it, right? Or like we had musical knowledge, but like not that much realistically. So like,
It's a lot of discovery at that time, and again, you and I discovering things at the same time together.
yeah, that yeah,
Let's face it. But yeah, like this record was really like, you know, when I'm listening to it now, it just immediately puts me back on us being on the road and like being like, oh, check this out, or somebody's like giving us a CD of some band and we're checking it out in the van or the Subaru, whatever the hell we were in at the time.
right, yeah.
And it just completely informed what we were doing because we were very spongy, like you said. It was like we were kids and we were just eating up whatever we were kind of receiving and then pretty much applying it to what we were writing.
Absolutely. And we were both single.
Yeah.
And we were both like just going through like all sorts of stuff of like figuring out relationships and like music and so like, you know, like we also like the Shins. Remember, like we listened to the Shins, those records a lot, and like those records, those like Shoots Too Narrow and that other record,
Oh Inverted World.
Word of World, like pretty like powerful lyrics, powerful melodies, and like I was like, that's where like this whole like emotion. There's like an emotional feeling in the duo, like in this record, and even in the next record that I feel a lot because it's like us like trying to figure our shit out when we were like 23, 24, 25,
Totally.
after learning like so much about jazz and about improvisational music. Now we're like listening like Beck and the Shins and like trying to connect, you know, improvisational music to pop music, you know. Anyway,
Yeah, it's our mid-20s musical journal.
right.
You know?
Oh,
Our
let's talk
diary.
about Sunny's
Speaking
song.
of,
If
So
you don't
this-
know Sunny on Facebook, you should follow Sunny.
this was the first song, or at least, you know, most of it that I ever wrote.
Yeah, right. This is
You know,
this is
Marco wrote the
big.
lead melody on the verses, but I had written this song for like another thing. Like this was supposed to be my other rock band that was gonna have lyrics and it was gonna be like the Cure, like the fucking National, you know, some shit like that. And like again, what Marco's saying, this kind of like emotional, you know, there's an emo quality to this record and the next one too. That we totally had. But this is a
Absolutely.
cool ass song, man. Very
No.
like, you know.
This is like classic Joe. Like, I wrote a rock song, and you're like, in 9, like,
You can't shake that. Yeah,
can we? Yeah, I still can't shake it. Can we just have it in 4? Like,
I know.
Right. There's always an extra
Yeah,
beat.
but see, if I did it in 4, it would sound like somebody else's. You know, like
That's true. No,
because it wasn't, you know. But yeah, this one was pretty cool, and the cool thing on this, Joey brought in Smokey Hormel. Oh, this is nice. This is something we can do live because we overdubbed. the
Yeah.
both. So Smokey plays like a little bit on this, but on the release we did for Rope-a-Dope in Japan, we recut this with Brad Barr,
Oh, right.
right?
Oh, right.
And Brad would often sit in on this
Yeah.
in the live.
Yeah, this is like Joe coming in. I mean, Joe, also, when I think of this record, I'm reminded of like my basement in Brooklyn.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, just thinking about us, like in the burnt sienna little basement that I had, and like terracotta. I'm just imagining us, writing this stuff. But
Yeah.
but this is like Joe coming to my apartment with like a guitar and being like, "This is the song I gotta have."
And I recorded this with Steve Deitch
Oh, nice.
in Colorado, and it just said Joe's Love Song on the CD. And then I had a full arrangement of all the parts with the bridge, but the verse didn't have anything because it was supposed to be vocal, and you put that all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's you playing guitar, or is that Smokey?
I think
it's Smokey.
it's Smokey.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to and just would shit the bed. I don't know, maybe I did a little bit. Maybe I played that part. Because actually that part is deceptively hard.
Right.
I feel like maybe I played that part. He played those meow, meow on the bridge.
Okay.
But maybe he did too. And I think I did an acoustic thing because the whole thing was based on like a drop D, weird guy who doesn't know how to play guitar thing was the principal part of it.
This is personally, one of my faves. One of my
Good one. It's a nice one. I feel like this one was one of the early ones that you and I worked on where we kind of started transitioning into like the rock thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
I remember during this time we would like going back to like the Knitting Factory and then pop music, like we were playing experimental music, and then we like went on tour and we kind of realized that we're like kind of playing instrumental rock songs. And then our shows, we had like a cool show at Rocktone, remember that?
Yeah.
And we
very hip.
A lot of our shows were like, it was like first set was like all these songs, like first set was like 9 songs in an hour of like instrumental, sort of anthemic, melodic songs. And then we were like, dude, what do we got? Like we didn't
now we have to improvise for the next hour and a half.
We didn't have play pause stop at that time, so we basically, our sets were like a very concise, almost pitchfork like really cool kind of instrumental rock stuff, and then like our second set was like improvisational funk jazz,
right.
So we wanted to like, with the next record we met in the middle, at least, where we could play 2 sets of song oriented stuff. But anyway, it was like,
well, it's funny because this record is kind of like, to me, what you're saying, where there are these compositions, but then there's also 3 question marks.
All right.
What's the other? Broncos blues, a blues, in Odd Time Blues,
right?
Like Mike D and Skerrick, and I think we were like, trying to find that middle ground of like where we started, where we wanted to go. That's a cool sound. That drum thing, stolen from Coldplay.
Yes, we loved Coldplay.
We loved Coldplay.
You listen to Coldplay like every
I will
day.
fucking stand by that shit. The first 2 records are bomb. Parachutes and Rush of the Blood of the Head are awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was another influence. I mean, I
huge. I mean, dude, we found out about Coldplay. Actually, I found out about Coldplay from Justin Wallace.
I found out about Coldplay because I found your rollerblades in the back of a Subaru. No, deep cut, sick. But we were so infatuated with Radiohead, and he would find out who was opening for Radiohead in Europe, which was like a little bit harder then, to like find out that information. And he was like, dude, there's this band Coldplay opening for Radiohead right now in the UK. Check out this record, Parachutes. And it was like right before we went on tour. Yeah,
and we took it with us and totally we're all about it.
That was a big record.
Yeah.
Big record. Parachutes. We listen to that a lot.
Oh, do I miss the? There's a part of your solo that
Oh, was that a Coldplay thing right there?
No, but
Oh.
it's something where it brings me right back into the control room. It was like something where you had to like redo that part, and we had
Oh,
to like listen to it a bunch of times. But it was such a beautiful line.
oh,
That's and then you went.
oh! I had to like punch in. There was like a punch.
I
in.
don't know what it was, but it was something that was impactful to where I have some sort of visceral response to that
Yeah, no,
bit
I
of composition. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful passage that you.
with on that. And this is so. This record took us like 3 days to record,
Yeah, we went out to LA because we thought that's where records were made.
right? And
We went to
so
Sunset Sound.
so we shipped our gear. We literally paid for a trait.
Good
Uh,
management.
sorry,
Good
great.
management.
We shipped out my organ and like the ARP, the keyboard. Which,
Right, like you don't have these out there.
you know, right? Well,
Where
realistically,
are we gonna get?
that ARP exists nowhere.
That's true, actually.
I'm glad that.
And it's here. Is that going?
Yeah, and also Sunny Song is all the ARP. The
That's
ARP
true.
Too. But anyway, we did
Sunset
this
Sound.
Sunset Sound. Sunset Sound.
Yeah,
That's like legendary. That place.
totally.
Anyway, it was-
And then and we stayed right above the 101 Diner, which I heard just got closed.
I just saw that too. I was wondering if that was from.
Great tuna melt.
I was wondering if that was from Best Reason or from Play Pause. I guess it's Best Reason.
That was Best Reason, yeah, because we were in
Okay.
Hollywood.
Okay. That was so we.
Play Pause we did in over the Echo Park.
Where did we stay? You remember?
Best Western above the 101.
Oh.
That's the tuna melt.
The 101 Diner was the bomb. That was
Yeah,
the
and we
bomb.
would walk down the road and go to Amoeba Records in
Yeah.
Hollywood. I mean, all in all, it was amazing that we went out there and did it in LA. But
Yeah.
it is kind of hilarious looking back, that we were like, fucking LA, right? Well, also Joey was out there. And I think, strangely, I think it was cheaper to go out to him than have him come to us, maybe.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. That was Warnker. He did that. He probably tuned that out. Oh,
This is Broncos Blues? What is this?
no, this is the song that almost wasn't on the record, and Andy Hurwitz from
Oh,
Rope.
9
I might not. He kind of was like, because we were on that Rope Dope tour and we played the song every night, and he was like, "Wait, this song is not on your new record."
That was the newest song. Yeah.
And so we recorded this whole record, and then we went back and recorded this somewhere else.
Back and record this at Good and Evil in Brooklyn at that studio, which I have no idea what it is, but somehow I remember the name. Isn't it right?
No, that's exactly right. But that's
Which is over near like Flatbush.
yeah, that was oh my god, I'm totally spacing on this name right now. It's terrible.
Oh, like the person's studio was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, I think it was a buddy of yours.
Story classes, bass guitar, the honky tonk for now. Dan. Oh my god.
But yeah, we went back and did this, and then we also did it with Brad Barr. And this, I think there's a version that maybe was on the Japanese release, but I don't know if it was. But
Yeah.
because we did 9x9, Sonny's, and Waltz Number 1, the Elliott Smith.
Yeah. Oh, I wish that was on this re-release.
I know. Gotta
We should,
find
like,
that.
we should do a bonus on Spotify or something. Do like a bonus track.
Great idea.
Bonus.
Yeah, this is a fun jaunt.
Yeah. Wait, where did
9 is my favorite song on the album. I gotta pipe in here third wheel, but I'm still here.
I'm down.
Yeah, so good to hear. So
This was cool. I went and did something many years ago, probably in 2005, as on part of some panel, some like really like nifty jazz panel. And it was me and Frizzell and Marco, who was Dude Mang, the original piano player from Bad Plus.
Ethan Iverson.
Ethan Iverson.
Ethan Iverson. Sorry, yeah.
And for some reason I was invited on this thing. I don't remember, it was somewhere in the city, I forget what it was, and I played this tune because I was like, what the hell am I gonna play? And the idea behind it was jazz because it was a variation on a theme. It was a theme that would run through the whole tune, but we like metrically modulated against it. We did this, turned it backwards. The whole tune is based off of that, but we like, it's like, shrimp done 9 ways, And I remember Frizzell being like, oh, that's cool, man. I was like, holy shit, you're Bill Frizzell. And I was like, you're probably just being nice.
Oh, it's awesome.
But this is cool. This to me, this move coming up is like classic duo. The uppercut, just the,
absolutely.
The emotional rock out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lefty now, by the way. But yeah, this is a tricky little bugger.
This is a tricky little bugger.
When it goes back in. Nice little classic Benevento reharm.
Little bass note change.
Yeah. You got 2 dudes. A bass note change does a lot.
Right. This is all Russo's genius right here, coming into.
Oh, not yet. I think we do the sweet organ vibe now.
Oh.
Which was also cool because we were kind of getting away from the organ,
right.
A little bit, because we were all organ all the time, and it was kind of cool to be like reintroducing the classic Benny sound, that grumbly organ, from
grumbly,
the
I like PSP.
Nice little bass guy again, but yeah, Sweet Move is coming up.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, this is
I'll take
the way you decided to metrically modulate back into the thing. I was like, all right, dude, whatever, you just do it, and then I'll follow.
More rock, different time signature. Yeah, this is a
How
nice
did they
number.
do that?
It would be, if this weren't on this record, it would have been a huge drag.
Absolutely.
This is a pretty important tune in our catalog.
For that time frame, yeah, like if this song was on Play Pause Stop, it wouldn't have made sense.
No. Corey?
I just can't believe we did
Corey?
this whole record in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was a cool thing about this too. It's like, Jesus, the amount of stuff I overthink now every single time I try to work on something compared to what we were doing then was just like, I have a part 2. Can we make them work together? Cool. Okay. And can we make some shitty other sounds happen on top? We're like, cool. All right, let's put it out.
Right.
It's awesome. And that's kind of how it should be.
How it should be. I mean, before the put it out part was the let's play it.
Like, play the shit out of it. Yeah.
300 shows a year and then record it. So we definitely road tested this stuff before we went to the studio.
Yeah.
The majority of it.
Yeah. This was always a little fun bit live with the.
Right.
Thank you, Covington, Kentucky.
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you, Carl Denson, for letting us open for you.
It's for Diesel.
This is a good transition, I gotta say.
Yeah, because now this gets pretty beefy, and now we have Skarek and Mike D.
Yeah, we got Skarek and Mike D. And why were they out there? Did we hire them, or were they out there?
we were a little afraid. I think we were afraid to like put out a record of just us. I mean, a lot of our early career, we had a lot of sit-ins back in the day. We had a lot of different friends coming in and helping us out, helping us discover what we were doing. And these dudes, especially in this era, we would all work as a quartet quite a bit and be doing just these violent things. And this seemed to be an appropriate tune to have them on.
Right.
Which is also sonically cool because as opposed to like Play Pause Stop where we get some more tonal stuff going, this one kind of stays pretty meat and potatoes, and then it's nice to hear some new information.
And we definitely like looked up to Skarek. I remember like when I first met Skarek, I was like, hey man, yeah, nice to meet you. And I got his phone number,
Yeah.
and then he was like, don't give it to anyone else. I was just like, oh my god, I got like a famous guy's phone number. Like,
Yeah.
of course I won't do, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we looked up to him, and whenever he got in with us, or Mike D got in with us, we were like,
Yeah, like all the critters bugging guys. I mean, that
Right.
that thing from like the rope it up thing with Chamberlain and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool to have these guys on it too, and it definitely opens the record up a little bit for side B. So
This is the exact definition of Joe being like, I got one part, you got another part. Should we put them together? And like, this is like, I had like a riff. I had a riff from a whatever, and then I had this from like a piano lesson, and then it was like, let's put them together and see what happens. And then
that the whatchamacallit keyboard?
that's the ARP, yeah.
Had to have the ARP. And then like just random bullshit samples
right.
of just fucking nonsense that come
What was
like
that?
reverse samples.
Right, it's like some like radios.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was just like some backwards thing. I think, did you record that off of some like Christian radio thing in the Subaru on your old sampler? Wasn't that
Probably.
right? It was like
Oh,
something,
yeah.
because you had that like
Yeah.
old, what was that? Like a Roland sampler? You still have it?
I still have it. Check it out.
Sell it.
All right, here we
Donate it to Free Section Network. Sign it.
go. All right, here we are. The first auction.
Holy shit.
This is the original Benevento Russo Duo chocolate sample.
So we took the samples from that and put it on my new highfalutin sampler.
Well,
There's some Scarrick.
battery operated, so you
Right.
can run it,
We had it in the car, yeah. And we would just run the RCA jacks into the tape cassette thing
Even a tape cassette, yes.
and just like listen to samples in the car.
No, we would like sample shit with. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Why am I not using this? Or-
Yeah.
Amazing Scarrick part right there.
Amazing Scarrick. Like, so epic.
I love that Scarrick was like, I'm trying not to sound so saxophony, like.
Right.
I'm like,
Don't
he's
worry,
playing
you're
the
not.
saxophone. He's like, but anything that sounds so saxophony, and I just thought like it's so true. Like it's like me with like the piano in my own band. I'm like, I don't want it to sound too piano-y, Like,
Totally.
and I love that Scarrick was always awesome at like figuring out how to make it sound.
Right.
So, all right, so Katie is giving me some old Duo
Oh my god.
press stops.
Just a couple of super cool beefcakes.
Just a couple of cool super deep.
Oh, do I see a brick wall there in your press shot? Cool. With the collapsible drum set?
Right. Oh, dude, this is actually a great photo.
Actually, it's pretty cool. Send me a copy.
I will.
That's amazing.
That's the same Leslie in J-Rad. Woo!
That's right.
Where's that drum set? You still got
That drum set, I have part of it. I gave the couple of the toms to Stuart Bogey when he was doing Superhuman.
Oh, nice.
What else you got? This is fun.
This is fun. All right, so Katie's
Oh,
got
that was the original press photo.
the original press photo.
Babies.
Ponytail and glasses.
There he is. Look
So
at that
bad.
guy.
I'm like, give me a cigarette. I'm so thin.
And then we got Tobacco Road. This is when we were dating.
God, we looked at. Oh, you little soul patch thing! I've got whatever the hell I'm trying to do there. What's this? Oh God, awful.
That's when we drank like 7 Heinekens each.
That was pre-Maker's Mark.
That was Heineken phase.
Right. I tried to get some airplane bottles of Maker's Mark tonight because we don't drink it anymore. I was gonna, but they didn't sell them. So I didn't.
Should have gotten makers.
Here's
I
a
was
totally
listening, to the album this morning, and I was actually had the feeling that I had 3 makers. That's what this album
I
brought
know,
back.
right?
Absolutely.
So this is a total different vibe.
This is. We played this in the Knitting Factory probably a couple times.
Yeah. And the fact that you learned this by yourself is still awe-inspiring.
I remember the day you taught me this.
Dude, you sat down for fucking hours and
Yeah.
killed it. It's really hard. If anybody wants to stop and listen to what Marco's doing right now, this is hard for a full band to play.
This
The
is.
fact that you learned this was incredible.
I remember like learning this. I think you called up because Fat Mama, your older band before the duo, played this song, and I remember you calling up like
Goldberger, maybe?
or somebody and being like, "How does it go?"
This was a composition by Joe Lukasik, who was a professor at CU Boulder, that John, I think, helped workshop with him. I believe that Fat Mama started playing, and it was always one of my favorite tunes to play. And we were still like yazzy young men, and I kind of was like, "Hey, man, I'll play the drum set. Can you do all this other shit?" And like the fact that you're like, I don't know how the hell you do it. Still, I love this tune. I love this tune so much. I always will, and I love our version of it. I think it's really cool because we stripped away some of the other. There were some other melodies and stuff, and there were some other parts where we're like, "Nah, don't need it. Nah, don't need it. Don't need it." And this, especially live, was just like, when we were firing on all cylinders and 04, 05 times, this was just anytime it showed up in the set, it was about to kind of go nuts. And we would do like death rock, punk rock versions of it, and like all sorts of. I guess maybe the end of this one would be kind of a thing, but we would have our way with this one.
Dude, we're ripping it right now.
Dude, we're ripping so hard.
I think we're ripping right now. Dude, I literally don't remember recording this.
I do. And I was really nervous.
Was it at Sunset Sound?
At Sunset Sound, and Warrenker brought me like 3 of his like bomb kits. He's like, "Here's the one I played with REM. Here's like this one." And he like brought me like a Yazzie kit. And this was the Yaz kit that we used on a couple different things. There was 2 kits set up. I feel like the piano was in an ISO booth kind of across the way. We just had a window. And I was nervous because traditionally we were so in tune with being in the same space.
Yeah.
I was nervous that it wasn't gonna quite connect, And I think we did a pretty good
Sounds
job.
like we're connected.
Yeah, I think we did a fine job.
So did I overdub bass? I can't even tell.
No, I don't think so. I think you just played piano.
It's just piano
That's
and drums.
just you. Yeah.
Piano and drums on this whole track.
And then Skerrick, I think, comes in. Oh, Smokey comes in. Smokey does like a weird thing on the B section.
I love this. I love that we're doing this, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it too.
I forgot about this part of my life.
Oh,
So good.
that makes 3 of us, maybe. It doesn't sound like you've forgotten anything, frankly. I mean, the details, all in the details
Well,
here.
it's like that thing. Like you hear a certain thing, or you smell, or you taste a food, it brings you back immediately. And this
And it's not like we like recorded this in our garage. Like we like flew out to LA and like had a producer and like we geared up for this.
And he was like, "Cool, do whatever you want. I'll be on eBay looking for studio gear."
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to buy a new blazer for tomorrow. Wait, is Smokey really on this?
Yeah, he's like,
No, that's you.
"No, this is verbatim." See?
I'm really glad this song's on the record because this is a difficult song to play for sure, but it's really loose. Like just like a lot of the Knitting Factory shit, like how we started, which is like kind of hard to play, but like also really loose. Like we can stretch it out.
Right. You hit enough of the important parts to make it
Right, like
happening
we'll make sure we hit on the one together.
every now and again.
It's so funny he played on this.
Right, because he just came in out of nowhere. Joey's like, "Yeah, we're getting Smokey Hormel." We're like, "What?
Like,
The Sausage King of shit?"
right. Wow. This was always a hard one for me. Like if I had like too much
again,
which I always had, this was always difficult.
When- yeah, man, this is really fucking hard. Pretty sweet.
Actually, I love that there's guitar in there. Definitely.
Right?
Oh, this is Russo right here.
Yeah, Kitten had chops, baby.
Beast mode. This is Fat Mama. This is a little Fat Mama vibe right now.
Totally.
Fat
Oh.
Mama.
Totally.
I mean,
I forgot about this. This is pretty cool.
this me too.
Oh, to be young. Scary. I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
Way to go, us.
Way to go, duo. We're like, oh yeah, we like the Shins and like that. And meanwhile, we're like, Death Jazz, yes! You know, of course, we love this shit.
Yeah.
It's important to have, you know,
Weird record, man. Weird record. But it's like a side A, side B kind of record. Before it was a record, it was a CD, you know, like, so. Oh, cool. I like that. I like that. Unresolved, man. And now is this gonna be Broncos Blues?
I don't know.
Yep, Broncos Blues.
I don't want to listen to that right now.
I literally haven't heard this song in like at least a decade, if not longer. But yeah, like the second half of this record is completely different than the first half of this fucking thing.
Right.
Like, couldn't be more different.
Yep.
And then.
Well, look, the Benevento Russo Duo started at the Knitting Factory.
Right.
Aaron Stein, you know, a
Right.
blur of precision and passion. Joe was and still is. It started as organ and drums, right? And then
.com.
the Subaru, yeah, exactly. And we had that domain name.
It's not net, maybe.
Was it .net?
I think it was.
And then the fucking,
Even
and
cooler.
then the Subaru bit the dust, and we had no station wagon to tour with. So luckily, we got a van. And then Joe was like, well, why don't you put more keyboards in it?
You got feet, use them.
And I was like, that's a good idea. So like, you know, we brought the Wurlitzer, brought the ARP, you know, so this is like, you know, having like a whirly lead song.
Right.
This is like
That's
relatively new.
Yeah.
Normally it's like organ and drums, and this is like, you know, whirly and drums.
Say we just take this conversation straight into Play Pause Stop and see how it
But right. That's true. Like, yeah, like it really started as like
was a
organ and
progression.
drum.
Yeah.
It started as like, you know, as you know, Aaron, the $100 gig that we got at the Knitting Factory, $50 for Joe. No, it was like 75 for Joe, 25 for me.
No, it was 50 bucks.
History is being rewritten right now.
Whoa. That shit was equitable.
You know, like,
And all the Heineken we could drink.
right.
I should have gotten another 25 for carrying your
All the
fucking
Heineken
organ
you could
upstairs.
drink in the tap
Why
bar.
couldn't we just leave the organ? We had to move it every goddamn week.
We did a couple times, remember? Like,
That was the best thing that had ever happened to
what's
us.
his name? His vibes were in the back. The
Bill Ware. Yeah.
Bill Ware's vibes were in the back. Dude, remember that? Ah!
But remember how it didn't hurt? Could you imagine doing that now?
That's true. No. Game
I
changer.
threw my back out breaking down boxes the other day.
Exactly. No, it was like when you're, you know, 20, when you're just getting your stuff out there, you're like, I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Like, carry the organ down 2 flights of stairs. I don't care.
Right, every week.
Every week to play for 15 people.
But it was the
Yeah,
shit. I mean, that was, you know, this is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is the true beginning of both of our careers.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
like, you know, we had things that led us to that point, but this was like, those moments leading into this record were the things that completely defined that
Yeah.
time for us and you know,
And what-
continue into now, you know, in whatever permutation it falls in, you know.
Yeah. And what's interesting though is that like this is, you know, Okay, so realistically, we put out 2 records before this record. And, of course, those records,
Darts. What was
They
the
were-
other one? Oh, fucking right.
like the first one,
The other one. With
whatever.
Improv 1, Improv 2.
Yeah, like our debut record called Benevento Russo Duo. But
Right.
we made stuff before this record, but it was more like live and more like
Right.
experimental jazz and more, whatever. But like we did have like a solid foundation before this record came out.
Right.
But like it's our first, studio record, our first like realization of like original songs and like
Right.
sort of mix between
On a label
on a label.
that we
and-
got like paid money to make.
right, and a producer.
That was new.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
Mike D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should also mention that Broncos Blues.
Right.
It-
Yes.
Bronco was the nickname of our tour manager back then. Brian Aiello. I love you.
Yeah. Who went
I
on
love
to be
Bronco.
like a famous tour manager.
Right. So you think about like these careers you started, right? I mean, Brian.
I mean, it's pretty amazing when it's true. This ragtag bunch of so and so's. Yeah, Brian went on. Brian.
I've never heard you say that ever.
I haven't said it since I named him after
I've
a patch
never
of
called him
snow
Brian.
in Covington, Kentucky.
Oh yes.
Right? We played that spot opening for like Charlie Hunter, Shunter,
Hunter.
and across the way was what state? Something. It was
Cincinnati,
around,
Ohio.
right around the river, and smokes were like super cheap, and we got a carton of Broncos. I was like, "That's your name now," and that was it. And then Mike D made the cards because Bronco would be like, "Kill yourself, kill yourself," and Mike D I think made the cards that said Bronco says, right?
Yeah.
Or did I make them?
No, you made him.
I made them, but Mike D was really excited about it.
But Mike D like coined the phrase, maybe? I don't know. Or maybe you did.
I think he was a big proponent of rattling it off. But yeah, that's right. I made the cards.
You're good at making people famous.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. You made Bronco famous.
Did
You
Bronco
made,
famous?
you made Bobby Haight famous.
It's true. It's true.
You made Phil Esch famous.
It's like he called me. I was like, I'll see what I can do.
Oh.
This is a funny tune. This
Yeah.
one feels like it takes a little bit of air out of the record. It's
Yeah.
cool, but this should have been on the first.
Yeah, this could have easily
This is
been
like
on
a throwback. I like the song, but it's definitely like a throwback jam compared to what we were just doing.
It's like it's almost like a jazz school new blues. you know?
Yeah, right. You're like, oh, cool. All right, here's your assignment. Write a blues, but make it
Right.
different. Like, I'll put it in 7.
Right.
Because like if Whatchamadoogie ended and then this started,
Right.
I think
It
that
would've
would,
been- yeah.
that, all killer, no filler. But also, everybody was making CDs. They had to be like, everybody wanted to be 72 minutes or whatever the hell. I don't know what this ended up being. It's not 72
Right.
minutes, I think,
I
but
know. When Calibro was talking about
it's like way longer,
right when he was like talking about re-releasing this, he's like, dude, I'm gonna have to make 4 records because your
Right.
record is so long. And I'm like,
Because
oh
it's so
right,
cool. But
That's
right,
right.
because like that was like the age of the CD,
right.
and everybody had to make these long ass records, and I don't think it necessarily for the better. And
Did you know that the guy who invented the CD, like this Japanese guy, made it a certain length because it was like the length of his favorite classical song? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
It's like some guy
It's completely arbitrary. Like,
really arbitrary, but like the length of a CD is like I don't know how many
is
minutes,
it 72 minutes?
like a lot longer than a record.
Yeah.
I think more than 72 minutes.
Is it?
I want to say. I don't know,
Yeah.
but so like for bands to like have to fill like 18 tracks on a CD at a time was like kind of an issue. So yeah, you're right. Like we could have trimmed some fat on this record. Have it be like a 35, 45 minute record.
But that was like not happening.
That was not
Especially
happening.
in our worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not happening. It was. I have so many CDs in my basement right now that nobody will buy. It's
like Benny CDs.
like Benny CDs, yeah, and DVDs, and like CDs are out. Like we were,
That format, man.
we were
Cassettes came back. Cassettes came back. CDs.
That's true. It'll be hip again to have CDs. Don't worry. Put out live from Tonic on like Laserdisc.
right.
Fucking 3-year-old now is gonna be 18 one day and be like, dude, I got that shit on Laserdisc.
Oh, exactly. I know. Like nobody wants a CD now. Nobody wants a CD.
What's funny about this tune is this was just a concept, really. We had these little parts, more just like kind of like dynamic ideas. This was just an improvisation.
Wait, I should stop you.
Yeah.
Inspired by, do you remember?
No.
Moom, or Mum, M-U-M, that band.
Yeah.
So I saw them at the Knitting Factory, and it was like Scandinavian, or I don't know, like
Yeah.
whatever, like
Yeah, we had that silver CD in the car too, that shiny silver.
yes, yeah, like you know, like minimalistic,
Yeah.
whatever this kind of shit is, and we were like, we were into this like
Right.
emotional, repetitious Scandinavian like pop rock, whatever
Yeah.
this is, and this is our version of that, like
Right. Totally.
And I
And then,
remember,
and then we recorded this though, and this became the song that we played live, like the themes that Smokey were in the ba 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 ba. All that shit that became, we developed a live version of this tune based on this improvisation that had like total form structure, but this was all completely improvised.
you know what's crazy? I'm immediately transferred to the recording session right now, and I remember recording this. I'm shit you not. I remember sitting there recording this, and I had my headphones on, and the only thing I could hear in my headphones was you and me. I couldn't hear like Scarrick or Smokey or anything, or Mike D, because it's Mike D, Scarrick, and Smokey.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, what was that? What did we just
Joe was
do?
playing a lot.
Yeah, and then I listened back and I was like, all right, Scarrick, he's doing
Right.
up his melodies.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I remember being like, we should probably do that again, because I didn't really hear what was happening.
Wait, I was kind of just going like this,
right.
which actually probably wouldn't have served it. You would probably been all over like reacting to what you're hearing,
Absolutely.
and you just kind of kept it as this basal one.
Yeah, it was one of those like, dude, I don't know if you remember, but I think we recorded this one time.
Yeah. Oh no, that was it.
This
This was the one time we played this. We had the parts, like we had the drum sample parts. We had the concept of like this kind of like big aggressive thing.
I think
but that's it.
we had played it on like Jake's boat cruise one night
Right.
or something, and then
Yeah.
like, and we were like, yeah, we got this new like Moon kind of song.
Super hip. Chicks are gonna dig it.
But this was like the
That's it.
first only take of the song.
Yeah, this was it, and then this became a truncated version of the themes that were kind of like laid down this time,
Yeah, and
and it keeps going. It's way long from what I remember. Like we're like fuck it, let's do it again.
yeah,
You know, like whereas we kind of like made a version for live. Oh.
So did you have the name for this one before you played it, or was that
Marco, well, this was, I'll let him.
yeah. This was just like, I was just trying to be political,
Yeah,
and
right.
It's the perfect time for it, bro.
you know, and this is the book that George Bush was reading to the class right as 9/11 buildings got hit, or the World Trade Center got hit. He was reading My Pet Goat by Dr. Seuss or something, or who or no, maybe not Dr. Seuss. We probably know who Dr. Seuss.
I don't
What is that part? We never did that. The tabla?
Mike D on tabla.
Dude, I haven't heard this in so long.
I don't even remember that Wurlitzer part.
If we ever play a show again, we'll do that part. That's like a whole.
We definitely didn't do that ever.
What? That was crazy, man.
Wow.
I mean, that's cool because like, being that we haven't listened to this song probably since, let's say, at best, 3 years after we recorded it.
At best, yes.
You know, like I don't feel like we've heard that part.
I never played that part live.
No, cool part.
Cool, very cool part.
Cool part, dude.
Because I didn't hear anything else that was going on.
Well, you're like, okay, I'll be the guy.
I'll do something. Probably. Nobody's doing anything.
Right.
They're like, "Oh right, we weren't sending you the sax and the vibes and the guitar," and then it was like,
do it again.
there was no like. I think everybody was like, "There's no doing it again." That was it.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
like,
It would have been pointless.
how long is this song, Aaron?
I think it's 8 minutes and 23 seconds. It's pretty good size of a track.
I honestly don't think.
CD length.
I don't think there's a take 2 of this anymore.
No, there's definitely not. This was the take. Wow.
Oh.
And you know what's amazing is we were too lazy to like sample like the tabla or like, you know, like taking elements from the record. But that theme, Smokey kind of really gave this thing some.
He wrote that part.
Oh, no. And that was improvised, but then that became the ending of the tune too.
Right. What was your influence for the drum beat for that? Was it also Postal Service?
Fuck you, man.
No,
no,
that sounds like it, right?
No, I mean, I think it was just like
Or was that like its own thing?
that. Like, yeah, I don't think there was like a direct thing as much as it was just like that time.
Ah,
You know, where you know, I don't know, maybe like more of like square pusher kind of a,
yeah.
you know, like that, like just cacophony of rhythm, you
Yeah.
know, interlocking and things dropping in, dropping out.
Yeah.
And then this is the finally getting its own place in the sun. This was the secret track, which was also something people did on CDs. Where it's like, oh, who even know?
That's so true.
You want a little,
If you let the last track play, man, there's an extra track.
right?
You know.
Cool, man.
I
Now
remember.
this has its own track on the record.
Right. I remember Andy from Rope-a-Dope being like, "Yeah, the song just doesn't fit."
Right.
And I remember being like, "You know what? You're totally right. Like it doesn't fit." And he's like, "We'll just have this as a bonus." But this, compared to all the songs on the record, was one song that we had played a lot at the Knitting Factory.
Oh yeah, I mean, this was a song that you had well before we were the duo too, right?
Right. This is like a
This
song.
is one that you like brought in to the fold.
Right. This is like a jazz farmer song. This is like a song I had written like, you know, in 2001, before the duo even started. So this is like almost like a music school kind of jazz club kind of sounding organ song.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is like the most organ on the album, right? The most organ? I mean, not even close to on the other side.
I mean, this is probably the most like OG.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's different keyboard going on, but like that basic, you know, and it's actually kind of nice that it goes back to just the two of us after, again, that like insanity of having all the guests and my pet goat and it's like, all right, now it's just these two dudes.
Yeah.
And this one actually, you know, I think in our later years especially, really took on an amazing live life. I feel like we got into some really like kind of spiritual jazz
Yeah.
places with this one where you would just like,
Yeah.
you know, just do your Marco thing so beautifully, and I was just like, you know, for like 6 minutes, and you would just like take it through these emotional passages, and
Right.
again became like kind of a really amazing part of the live show, even in the later to the last years of us being a functioning live band, which was cool to see it go through that many permutations too.
Yeah.
And it was all named after your hippie sandals.
It's because I have all these hippie sandals.
That's why we're in a Grateful Dead cover band now, dick.
Yo, blame J-Rad on me.
Ponytail and Mephisto sandals.
Hey, that ponytail, man.
Right. Joe would be like, "Are you gonna wear that?"
Meanwhile, I'm like,
Like, what's wrong with these like orange shorts and these brown sandals?
They're fast.
and his green T-shirt.
With a donkey on it.
Right. Green T-shirt with a donkey on it, orange shorts, and brown sandals. I mean, come on. Oh yeah. Oh, this is actually Joe on piano and me on drums.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the piano.
We actually switched it up for this part.
Ooh, marching bass drum?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I heard one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there it is.
Classic Joey Waronker production, man.
I'm just a man. Just a man. I wanna get together.
Didn't he like accost Nora Jones at some point about like a?
Oh yeah, right. So this was around the time that Nora Jones was famous with that record she put out, and I had written the song, and I had a dream that Nora Jones sang like a lyric line over this melody. Well, not this part, but the other part. And then and the next day we had a gig at the Knitting Factory, and Nora was there, like hanging out, like having beers after the gig. And I was like, I got to go up to her and be like, I had a dream that you wrote lyrics to my original song. And so I was like, hey, Nora, I'm a big fan. I wrote this song. It's crazy. I had this dream that you wrote these lyrics to my own song. And she's like, you're still dreaming.
Oh, right. Holy shit. I forgot about the payoff.
And so our drummer Andy Borger, who used to play in my trio for a while, he played with Nora Jones for a while, and I told him that story, and he was like, of course she'd say something like that or something. But anyway, she I did accost her and tell her that
gently
at like 2 a.m. after 6 Heinekens at the Knitting Factory.
Right after our pay at that.
Yeah. I like the way the major third sounds in the bass than the minor third.
Notice that. Yeah, man. Really
There's the
a nice drone tone. I believe you work it up.
Joe does the sort of flipping it, kind of flipping it. Maybe flipping it, maybe not.
We're sitting on it for a while. I think we're thinking of like the live version where you would go into crazy.
Yes.
Inversions.
Right. This is the studio version.
This is the studio version, man. You're thinking of the studio version.
Is that it? Is it over?
It's over. Good night. Bye.
So sad. Let's do it again.
I know.
So what about the album title? That was a question that came up. People wanted to know. What was it?
Joe, I gotta say, that's all Joe. Joe, go ahead.
I read it in the newspaper. And there wasn't a lot of context. It was, you know what it was? It was like one of those like New York Magazine or one, like it was a New York rag of some sort. It was like the end of the year kind of thing. And it was like the best things you could do in the city. And it was the best reason to buy the Sun, like the newspaper.
Oh, the Sun. Oh yeah.
And I just thought it had the most beautiful sound about it. Best reason to buy the Sun. But also at that time, it was just like, thinking bigger. It was like, God, we thought we were in a global crisis then. It rang in a different way, and it felt like the words took on their own thing at the time, And then actually, once Andy and Ropido brought their artist in to do the cover, like they did such a fucking great job with it. When we saw the it all just kind of came together. But yeah, it was a very random, just when you notice a phrase, and that was that.
Yeah, I remember you getting really into it and like sending me like 10 different ideas you had and like explaining them all to me, and I was like,
"Who is this?"
I'm like,
I don't know.
I'm like, sure, dude. Yeah, like I get it, man. I get it's really crazy. Like imagine like somebody like being able to buy the Sun.
Right.
Well,
I definitely went like early 20s on it. He's
Yeah,
like, no, dude, it's gonna be a fucking commodity, bro.
right,
Like,
right.
fucking think about it, man.
I, you
We're
know,
heavy, and Mark is like, cool, man.
like I don't know. I
Sure, dude, you're gonna be a dick if we don't do it. So sure.
I love that you were like, hey, dude, it's 10 a.m. Like we're having the meeting about the album like cover title ideas, and I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, I just love that you were really into it.
Are you in my house right now?
Yeah, like you were like,
yeah, man, we live together. Thank you for giving me a place to live.
Right, exactly. You're like, this is our first record, man. Snap, get it together, bro. Like, we got to get the album right. Come on, the album title right. And I was like, I don't know, just call it Welcome Red. Like, let's call it Welcome.
Oh, right. Oh, we didn't. But wasn't there a thing with Welcome Red though? That we skipped over.
We kind of skipped over. Yeah,
but
the song.
Were we playing at Bruno's in San Francisco? Is that the spot? Okay.
Yeah, we were. So another, and like you remember, right? We almost called the record Welcome Red too, because we had some photos that like were red and blue. And we were like, right, Welcome Red, but the song title Welcome Red that we heard earlier actually came because we played at a small, like in front of like 100 people at Bruno's in San Francisco, and on the marquee it said Benevento Russo Duo. And we were about to play a gig, and Joe and I did a sound check, and then we were gonna like go eat dinner and then come back and play our gig. And before we went out to dinner, I like went to the bar to have a drink, and these like two guys were sitting at the bar, and they were like, this one guy's like, hey man, who's playing? And the guy's like, I don't know, some band called Welcome Red, or some from Italy or something, because Benevento meant welcome to him, and Russo meant red to him. So it was like,
it's very close.
It was just very close. I just thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh,
we were dying from that.
I was like, oh my god, dude, I just had a beer at the bar, and these like two drunk guys.
And I got the perfect name for our new song.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Because that's how song titles come when you're an instrumental band.
Exactly. That was
amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Right? Isn't that funny? It's fun to like think about those times though, and like go back and.
Well, and also, and I remember Scratch Edie. You came up with Scratch Edie.
Oh, we were on the subway.
Oh, we were on the subway, going to get a rental car to go to a gig, because we couldn't. I forget what happened. The Subaru was dead, and we didn't have the van yet. So we had there was a time where we had to rent a van, like a month or 2 month period where we had to rent a van. So we rented a van at like Coney Island because it was like $20 cheaper to like go to Coney Island and get a van. So we went and like took the subway to Coney Island, and it was like no graffiti or scratchiti on the windows, and we were both like, "What's scratchiti?" And we were like, "Oh, it's when you scratch into the windows."
Yeah.
Your graffiti, and they were.
That was like, the coolest thing, and we had just written the tune.
Yeah.
And we're like, "That's the fucking name."
Right.
It's like tough.
Yeah.
There's a cool name for it.
You were good.
We had never heard that. I'd never heard that term, and now it's actually, I mean, I left Brooklyn. You left Brooklyn a long time ago, but
oh yeah.
When I do find myself on the subway and I see it, I get a little.
Yeah, a little scratchity tear.
Little scratchy tear. I scratch one little tear.
we should get little tattoos, little scratchy tattoos.
That would be dope.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yet? Did we break the internet?
I think we broke it. I forgot. I didn't get a chance to mention, but A donate if you can. We also, Joe is very kind to. He donated this cool jersey, tie-dye jersey, and we're auctioning it off. So check the Facebook page for that. And the other thing is that Royal Potato donated a couple vinyl copies of the album that we just talked about. Now you have all the inside scoop. So anyone that's made a donation is may get picked to get one of those. So
one of a kind. Further Brooklyn Cyclones, when we first played at Coney Island Ballpark with Further, and we got these tie-dye jerseys.
Love it.
This is as nostalgic as I get, is talking to my friend Marco about our old band. So I thought maybe somebody would want this. So we're going to donate whatever this fetches to the Freaks Action Network as well.
Nice.
So thank you so much.
Very cool. Yeah, I have a lighter that I am auctioning off that still works. and it's a small one.
Oh, is that a mini? Oh, see, I couldn't tell because of how close it was. I
Yeah,
thought you
and-
could have sold it
and-
as a large.
Yep, and I used it a couple times, so
Sign it with your bong.
I'm gonna sign it with my bong water, and I'm also auctioning this red lighter off. It's a big.
A Bic. Oh, you should have said that.
And it's a big.
Starting bid 2,500. Just kidding.
What do we think? Do we do this for play pause or what? Are we?
What do we think? I think we should encore. I think
Let's let the people decide. If you guys enjoyed yourselves tonight, we certainly did. And maybe we'll come back and do the other record and try to raise some more money for our friends in New York who are unfortunately going through a very difficult time, as we all are. So yeah, Aaron, thank you for putting this together. Benny, love you, my brother.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Aaron. Love you too, Joe. Love you, Aaron.
Love you, Marco. Love you, Joe. This has been great. You guys killed it.
Everybody should know that Aaron coined the phrase "a blur of precision and passion."
Wait, was that Aaron?
Yes.
Is it?
You didn't know that, Joe?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ah! Come
Marco
on.
says it at least twice a year.
I say
Yeah, I always thought he was just doing it to give me a hard time, but so that's just.
Well, he was, but he's also now I know. Well, because
I think that's an accurate description of Joe's playing. And I've always loved that.
no, I mean that's a very kind statement, and Marco, it really did tickle Marco from the first moment he read it.
I know it did. I've been hearing that
for quite some time.
17 years ago, 18 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. I've been hearing Marco say that. This evening has been a blur of precision and passion.
No, there have been times within the recent years where we'll get off stage and Marco will just come up and be like, "Man, it's a fucking blur of precision and passion. Your word to live on."
Dude, that's a great phrase. You coined that phrase, dude. You got to own that, and I love it. And
so if we ever make a duo record, maybe we'll call it like Precision and Passion, and we'll do like a Love Below and a speaker box thing. One side's precision.
So which one is precision and which one is passion?
You have to find out, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a note to end it on, guys. Awesome. I am gonna goodbye all. I'm gonna